Hey everybody, welcome back to Kickback. I am so excited to have you join us. I'm now joined by my good friend Heather. Heather, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem at all.
Heather, you're joining us today to be able to, you're sharing your personal story. I've known you for a number of years now, and I think maybe I've gotten bits and pieces of your story and what you've gone through in your life, your lived experience. You've navigated and overcome so much.
Yeah.
What does that, for you, what does that feel like to be where you are now?
Honestly, it feels like, because I've been through certain things, it feels like I'm able to help other people through the things that they're struggling with.
Right.
A lot of people come to me for help. A lot of people ask me a lot of questions. And not only does the person struggling come to me, but their families as well, to maybe learn how to help those people who are struggling. So that's pretty cool.
Right, and what does that feel like for you to be able to be probably that person that you could have used early on in your life?
Well, I did have a lot of support. As I was going through my struggles, but I wish I would have had them way earlier than later.
Right.
So.
And now you've had addiction in your family, instability through school. Can you just share a little bit of your journey?
Yeah, of course. I feel as though I almost honestly cheated my whole way through elementary, high school, and college. I suffer with learning strategies. I have ADHD. I'm going to really concentrate on speaking slowly. But with that, they didn't have diagnosis then as to what was struggling. I actually looked at my report cards the other day from kindergarten and grade 1 and grade 2, and it says, Heather will not sit still. Heather disrupts others. Heather has a hard time focusing. Like when you look back and see all that, you're like, there's the ADHD.
Right.
So that was a real struggle for me in elementary school. And I was popular, I was funny, and I got people to do my work for me, so I just got through.
Right, you adapted.
I adapted. I just figured out how to do it. Cheat the system, I guess. I don't know what you call that, but if I would have had the support that they have now, it would have been a lot easier for me to get through with an independent program.
Right.
Sure.
And now what kept you going through those years where you were navigating addiction?
What kept me going? Really, my family. My
Right.
family, my mom, my kids. Like that's what kind of was my drive, my push.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, I cheated my way into my elementary, or in my treatment center as well, because I just couldn't stay sober.
Right.
They want you to stay sober for 2 weeks before, and then once you get in there, so I mean, the most degrading thing I've ever had to do is ask somebody else for their urine. It was just horrible and just embarrassing and degrading, and it was a nightmare. But once I got there, I knew I had to be there, and whoever my higher powers knew I had to be there, so that's what got me in, I think.
Right, and so I guess take me back to that point of being, what was going through your mind at that point of knowing that you wanted that help, but in order to get in, you were going to need somebody else's urine to be able to pass, to be able to get in? Yeah,
well, it was a 2-hour drive. It was a long 2-hour drive, and I traveled with a Visine bottle full of somebody else's urine in a thermos without my sister and mother knowing, since they drove me, and I was sweating. I mean, I went in there and I practiced learning how to do it without anybody seeing, with there being cameras in the bathroom, and there was not, when I turned out there was no cameras in the bathroom, and there was no one watching me. But besides the point, I put it in there, and then the counselor that was there when I took the urine sample to him, he just said the temperature's a little off, and I was like, whew, but he still let me in anyways. And now I understand why, being sober, I understand why they needed you to be sober, is because I slept through most of the beginning classes.
Right.
I was detoxing in there, so that was a struggle.
Yeah.
And it was scary. It was scary going there for the first time. It was actually horrible. I thought I was alone. I thought nobody wanted. I didn't know what I was in for. It was like I cried a lot.
Right.
But I swear to God, there's a sign on the door that says you must cry to fit in here.
Right.
Which it turns out tears are actually healing, and that's okay. But
yeah, and what would you say to somebody that's maybe approaching that period in their life where they're ready to get help? They're struggling with addiction.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. It is hard to be ready, and I don't even know if I was ready, to be honest. I know when my mom wanted me to be sober, and I wanted to be sober. Then the thing is that I actually 2 weeks, because they want you 2 weeks sober before you get into your treatment center. I did my last yeehaw, I did my last I'm going to do everything I possibly can before this 2 weeks happen, and I yeehawed a little too much, and I actually died. So I remember going in for the shower, and I woke up in the hospital. I had no idea. I did a drug that was in my drug. That wasn't planning on doing. I wasn't allowed to talk about it, but
Right.
It actually ended up killing me. I wasn't doing that drug, but it was mixed in with the drug that I was doing. So, and that didn't stop me from doing drugs, and that's this crazy part. I didn't want to die. I had no intentions of dying. I did love my life, not like the drug part of it, but I did love living, and I knew I could be somebody for other people.
Right.
But having that feeling and knowing that I died and I'm still going to go out and do drugs was crazy to me. The addiction took over. It just took over everything for me. So it's and I love my mom. I didn't want to hurt her, and I love my sister, my friends, my kids, and I didn't want to hurt them, but going through it all, you're just like, the drug just takes over. So you just have to know who to ask for help and where to go and the program. There's an Alcoholics Anonymous program. There's an NA program, Narcotics Anonymous, and honestly, they help you out. They are amazing, amazing people. You feel embarrassed going in for the first time, but honestly, like once you're in those doors, they're so welcoming and so friendly, and still, like even if I don't go to regular meetings, which I should, I know, but even if I don't get there, I notice when I'm not going there because silly little things like there's a gentleman in the program, and he's very wise, and he says to me, if you're going to park in a parking lot in the mall per se, you're going to want to park in the very back because somebody else needs that. Well, he's old.
Right.
And if he's parking at the back of the parking lot, I should be parking at the back of the parking lot. So just little things like that. It's like, oh, maybe I need to go to a meeting because I'm starting to park at the front of the parking lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just little things like that. So not only does it help you stay sober and helps you be around like-minded people, it actually helps you do like life things that are better for you.
Right.
Like parking in the back of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you take us back to when like you first started to use substances? Sorry.
That's okay.
When you first started to use them, what was going on in your life that led to that?
With addiction, it's crazy because addiction, you can be addicted to anything. You can be addicted to sex, shopping, anything, really. So I guess my mom's a smoker. She's been a smoker since I can remember. My dad was an alcoholic. He passed away when I was 7. And I guess I started smoking the summer of grade 6, stealing cigarettes. And also stealing is an addiction as well. So I stole cigarettes from my mom. I was the cool kid that had all the smokes, right? So she got caught once when she left one pack there, and I stole it. So obviously you're going to get caught. But I guess that's when it started. The addiction started. But for when I got into heavy drugs, I was in an abusive relationship, and the person, without mentioning names, the person was very controlling and very manipulative, and he actually scared me. So he actually convinced one of my kids. I have 2 kids. I'm a mom of 2, now 25 and 27. He convinced him that I was this horrible person. So as soon as my son thought I was this horrible person, I actually started thinking I was a horrible person. So then that's when like the real heavy drugs kicked in when he didn't want to come home.
Right.
So that was hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. So
Yeah.
and
So we just numbed it.
right.
It was easier.
Yeah.
At the time.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right, not later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've described yourselves as, and I could see this too in you, is like being Mary Poppins
Yeah.
on the outside.
Dee,
You're
dee,
very
dee.
bright and bubbly, but feeling like Eeyore on the
That's right.
inside.
That's right.
What does that feel like to go through life, by presenting
It's
that
exhausting.
way? Yeah.
It's exhausting, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't do it on purpose. I just don't like negative. I don't like hurting people. And I don't like bringing it out. Like, I don't want to, I'd rather talk about something positive than something negative. So I can turn any negative into a positive, maybe not for myself, but I can flip it somehow. Like if I was to live in a cardboard box, I would say, at least I have the box.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm good at that, like changing things for other people, but I just take all my feelings, like the negative ones, I just kind of take them, bundle them up and bury them. And a lot of the times, actually, I quite forget about them.
Right.
And until somebody brings it up, like, did you know that happened? I said, no, I don't remember.
Yeah.
And I just bury them. So it's good to talk about your feelings and get them all out.
Totally. And what does it mean for you to be on the outside now, or on, not necessarily, because it's a lifetime journey.
Right, right.
Addiction.
There's no cure for addiction. You're always going to be an addict.
And
right.
like you said, it can be anything, right? It's not just drugs. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, right? It's a lifelong journey that you are navigating in like keeping that at bay, right?
And also you have to understand when you take away an addiction, like say drugs, you may pick up, or you probably will pick up another addiction. So it could be working, which is not good for you to work that much, which could be shopping, it could be sex, it could be anything.
Right.
So you have to keep an eye on what those things are and talk about them as well.
Right.
Because you might find some other addiction to just pick up on.
Yeah, and
So
for you, what was the most important like support? Or when was there a moment that you were like, I needed that particular thing to happen in order to get you to, where we are today?
Yeah. So I went to Westover Treatment Center. It's a 19-day chemical dependency program. And when I went there, obviously I was still stoned. So I went there, and when I first got there, I wanted, like, my girlfriend at the time to bring me drugs. Like, I wanted her to bring me someone. She was coming to visit. Like, that was my mindset. Like, you got to bring it to me. Well, she didn't come, unfortunately, but she did that for a reason.
Yeah.
She was actively using as well and thought it was not a good idea, so
Yeah.
that's great. But and then the week went by, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, I want to do drugs, but I don't want to hurt the staff.
Right.
Right, so I was thinking about them, and I didn't want to hurt the staff, so that's why I kind of didn't want to. I was on the fence. If she brought it, I still probably would have done it.
Right.
But by the third week, it was like, now I don't want to do it for me, because they teach you about what you're going through. They teach you why you're going through the things you are, and it's just, honestly, it was life-changing. I have a tattoo for Westover. It was amazing. Most of the counselors there are all addicts, so they get what you're going through. It gives you routine, it gives you structure, it gives you, for the longest time, for 2 weeks after, I was actually going back every Tuesday to play volleyball, just to show the other addicts you can still have fun without drugs or alcohol. Because when you when you go anywhere, like anywhere, there's alcohol everywhere. Like when you,
Right.
there's in the country songs, in country music, at a baby shower nowadays.
Yeah.
There's drugs and alcohol, or not drugs, but there's alcohol at like funerals. There's alcohol everywhere you look. Even everywhere you look, there's always alcohol. So like teaching, going back there every Tuesday, someone's like, well, why would you drive 2 hours to go play volleyball? And I said, well, I know what else I would have been doing with that money before.
Right.
And it does help me to help other people. So that's good. So that's kind of was my like, haha moment. Like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore because I'm hurting a lot of people.
Definitely, and
myself.
shame can be a big
Oh, yeah.
part of dealing
Absolutely.
with addiction, right? Like there's a lot of stigma around being an addict, right?
Yeah.
And navigating that.
Especially being a single mother at the time too.
Right.
It's hard to get to a treatment center when you're a single parent. What do you do with your kids, right?
Right.
So
I think it's just incredible that how you've navigated everything and how now, like who you are today with your business, with who you are in the community, giving back. I always think it's incredible how the people that can go through the darkest things and overcome those things, or like figure out how to work with those things, always want to share, to be able to hope, with the hope of helping others.
it's a great feeling. It really is, honestly. Like once you get past all that, like the embarrassment of it, because I mean, for the longest time, even when I went to my treatment center, I told my clients I was going to Nova Scotia.
Right.
Until one client called me out on, oh, whereabouts?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nova Scotia, my brother lives there. I don't
Yeah.
know. And I was embarrassed to talk about it. And now
Right.
I feel the more I talk about it, the easier it is on me to stay sober, and the easier it is for people to come to me and talk to me. So it really does help.
Right, and so for the individuals, maybe they have a loved one at home that is experiencing addiction. What would you say to them to be able to help navigate the relationship with their loved one,
Yeah.
whether it be a family member or a friend?
For sure, for
or-
sure.
Yeah,
Because I mean, I've looked back at when like parents of kids who were addicts come to me, I'm just like, oh man, that was my mom. Like, oh, that sucks. And the best thing is to do is to just let them go. There's
Right.
nothing you can do physically to help them. There's nothing you're going to do that's going to change their mind. They have to do it for themselves. You can't be giving them all the time. You can't be giving them money because you're going to spend it on things.
Right.
You just have to let them go. You have to let them fall on their own.
right,
Because if you enable them, you're just making the addiction worse.
right,
You're just enabling it, and you're encouraging it, and really you're kind of helping kill them. So
Right.
I mean, the best thing you can do is let them figure it out on their own. Like let them find their rock bottom. There's going to be one. So
right, right. And
Yeah.
I think that's incredibly important for people to be able to hear, because it's hard. I can't imagine like navigating that with either of my boys. And I
Yeah.
mean, he's 5 and
Yeah, of
10
course.
months, right?
Yeah.
And it's like thinking about what that would be like to be able to deal with. Like that would be incredibly hard.
you want to give to your kids. You want to give
right.
them everything.
Yeah.
And I'm sure my mom did too. I mean, my mom drove me to the treatment center, but
Yeah.
but I do love her so much and her patience. And I mean, she had to deal with an alcoholic father, my father as well. So, and unfortunately, he died like young. Obviously, he was 47, and I'm 43 now. So I'm thinking like, I thought he was old when I was young. I was like, oh,
Right.
my dad was old when he died,
Yeah.
but he wasn't. Like that's only a few years older than me.
Now, Heather, having gone through absolutely everything that you've been through, what does strength mean to you?
Well, strength, sometimes when you think of strength, you think of like one person being strong, and you have to be strong for everybody else, and that's not the case for me. Strength to me is having so many people around to help you, so many options. Like, I mean, there's so many. Like, first when I was freaking out, I went to St. Leonard's. Like, that was the first people I called because that's who I knew to call. But you can go online, and there's treatment centers, there's detox centers, there's counselors, there's everybody, and it's all free. I mean, it's all free.
Right.
You can. So strength to me is having the ability to ask for help.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's beautiful. I thank you so much for joining us
No
today.
problem.
I really appreciate you sharing your journey, and I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you.